Hello, Chrissy Etheridge here, the Oilest, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm going to talk about what are essential oils. This video is just going to talk about the basics. If you're just now starting out with essential oils, you've never really tried to mix that for maybe a lavender spray on your pillow, or somebody's given you a peppermint lozenge before, but really you're just getting started in essential oils, and this video is specifically for you. I have a quick introduction video that I'd like to show you, and then I'll come back and I'll explain more in detail.
There are no wasted efforts in nature. The fragrance of a flower, the smell of an orange, or the scent of a pine tree all serve specific purposes vital to a plant's survival. What our senses perceive as fragrances or scents are actually volatile aromatic compounds, tiny organic molecules that serve a variety of protective, reproductive, and regenerative purposes. These compounds help ward off unfriendly pests, attract friendly herbivores and insects, and even help the plant heal from infection and physical injury. There are over 3,000 identified varieties of aromatic compounds, each with its own unique and functional chemical constituents that provide different aromas and benefits to the plants. From the petals of a flower, to the leaves of a plant, the rind of a fruit, or the resin of a tree, these volatile aromatic compounds are all around us. Distilled directly from their plant sources, essential oils are multifaceted agents that have seemingly endless applications to our health and can be used aromatically, topically, or internally. Ensuring the maximum potency and beneficial properties of an essential oil are the result of maintaining the delicate ratio of aromatic constituents found in that essential oil, all of which can vary depending on the time of day or part of the plant which is harvested, time of year or life cycle when harvested, the geographic location and whether where the plant was grown, or the method and even the duration of distillation. For that reason, it is vital that essential oils come from a trusted source committed to not only producing unadulterated essential oils, but to adhering to the strictest production protocols. There are no wasted efforts in nature. Neither should there be in the health care you provide for yourself and those you love.
All right, so a quick recap on that video. Essential oils are naturally occurring volatile aromatic compounds. And what that means when it says volatile is it means that when essential oils come in contact with oxygen, they dissipate very quickly. They react very quickly, so they're volatile with the environment. That's what that means. Essential oils are found in the seeds, the bark, stems, roots, flowers, and rind of plants. There are actually some plants that have multiple essential oils just from one tree. For example, the bitter orange tree. We use the rind for one essential oil. We use the flower before it becomes an orange is another essential oil. It's called neroli. And we can also use the leaves of that plant in a petitgrain essential oil. So the essential oil is the essence of the plant, so to speak. It's really the protective mechanism of the plant. Plants just sit in the ground. They have no fences or forts to protect them. So they have to protect themselves with either their physical capability, like the thorns of a rose tree, or they give off aromatic scents to either attract or to repel certain threats. They can also use their essential oils to help heal themselves when they get damaged or when they come in contact with bacteria or fungus that want to kill them. They can use those essential oils to help heal themselves. And we have the ability to collect those essential oils and use them in the same way that the plant will, because we're both made from the same similar DNA makeup. We're all natural and from the earth. We meld very well with plants and their chemical components that they make. Essential oils have been used for over 5,000 years, dating back into Chinese medicine. They were found in the Egyptian tombs of the pharaohs. They're discussed in biblical terms in depth, in terms of frankincense and myrrh as the gift to the Christ child. Essential oils are highly concentrated when distilled down for their purity, potency, and efficacy. For example, compared to their herbal counterparts, they're about 50 to 75 times more powerful than herbs. So 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So they're much more convenient to use in terms of medicinal value. I don't really have time nor the desire to drink 28 cups of peppermint tea when I can just put 1 drop on my tongue and get the exact same benefit. So why would we use essential oils? Well, we've already just talked about how much more potent they are than their herbal counterparts. They're also fast acting. If you put essential oils onto your skin, they absorb within 30 seconds of topical application. They can penetrate through cell membranes, unlike your antibiotics that your provider might prescribe. Essential oils, because they can penetrate inside the cell, not only can they kill bacteria, but they can also kill viruses. They're lipid soluble, so they can interchange in between those cell walls, and they've got a very small molecular size, which makes them perfect for getting into those different cells that are invading our bodies. Not to mention, essential oils can pass through the blood-brain barrier, specifically sesquiterpenes, which you say, why does that matter? Well, most drugs today actually can't cross the blood-brain barrier. We have a barrier that stops most drugs from getting into the brain. It's a protective mechanism our body has. But essential oils can pass through there, specifically the sesquiterpenes, also the monoterpenes. And why does that matter? Well, there's a lot of things that are ailments that we fight right now in medicine that we have no idea how to cure, such as traumatic brain injury, Parkinson's, seizures, and Alzheimer's. A lot of those disease processes, unfortunately, can just be the secondary problems that come with those can just be managed with medications, but we really don't have a cure for Parkinson's, nor do we have any positive outcome for Alzheimer's, except for just watching our loved ones just progressively get worse. So that's why essential oils can be so powerful in those. Plus the fact that we have a lot of mental disorders right now that not traumatic brain injury, I'm sorry, post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety and depression, bipolar, that we really just don't, in medicine, have any idea what to do with them. We keep throwing medications at them, and every 3 to 6 months we have to change the medications because they don't like the side effects or they just become non-compliant. And essential oils can really help benefit that because they have so much emotional benefits. The good news about essential oils is there's no side effects. Unlike the chemical components of medications, there's just side benefits. There's over 1,000 or 100 different components inside each essential oil, and our body knows how to use every one of those components to help benefit it. Drugs have synthetic fillers. Not only are they the synthetic counter chemical strain, what a scientist does really is they take the one benefit that they think that the plant is doing, and they learn how to duplicate that in the lab, add a bunch of fillers and additives to make a pill, and then they patent it. For example, willow bark has the same chemical components as aspirin does, and that's really where aspirin came from. Belladonna, for example, is used to slow the heart rate down, and so its chemical structure is how we use a heart medication called digoxin today to help patients with congestive heart failure and chronic cardiac disease, help their heart pump better. We slow it down so the electrical conduction cycle can work better. The problem is that when we use drugs, there's all the synthetic fillers and additives which our body can react to negatively. Just turn on the television and I guarantee you within 30 minutes you're going to see at least 2 drug commercials if you're on primetime television. And when you watch the end of those, I mean, there's just amazing side effects that you have to beware of. The Harvard School of Public Health reported that nearly 2 million hospitalizations and 128,000 deaths occur every year from properly prescribed medicines. I'm not talking about the opioid overdoses that happen when people take them when they're not actually prescribed to them, and even when they are prescribed to them, obviously there's over-sedation and things like that that happen with the opioids, but this is just in general properly prescribed medications. These are blood pressure pills, these are blood thinners, these are asthma medications, diabetic medications, properly prescribed medications, guys. 128 deaths every year occur from medications. I'm a nurse practitioner in multiple emergency rooms, and I see this every day. I see the side effects. I see people coming in not feeling right. I see this sedative qualities of the opiates and the benzos that are used and prescribed to patients. It's definitely a problem that we have to deal with. So, how do you use essential oils? Well, there's 3 main ways you can use it. The video touched on this briefly. You can use them aromatically, so you can diffuse them into the air. There are multiple different types of diffusers available on the market today. You don't have to use a specific one, but in essence, you're putting water inside a diffuser. You put 5 to 10 drops of essential oils inside there. You turn it on, and your diffuser is going to run for anywhere from 2 hours to 5 hours, depending on what the settings are. That's going to help purify the air and fight airborne germs. It can also help alter your mood and emotions. Diffusing essential oils is the best way to alter your mood, either giving yourself energy or calming yourself down and focusing for school or for prayer or meditation, or for even helping yourself go to sleep at night. It also helps your respiratory function. If you place a drop of eucalyptus or peppermint inside your palm and you cup it just like you would either inhaling like this or cupping it like you would mimic an inhaler, you can take a big deep breath in and get that same benefit as if you were using an inhaler, a respiratory inhaler. The interesting thing about aromatic benefit is that once it hits our nose and gets inside our olfactory system, it then is directly connected to our limbic system in our brain. And our limbic system is connected to 2 different centers, one being the emotional center and one being the memory center. That's why it can alter that's why breathing essential oils can alter our mood. But also one of the reasons why it works so well when it comes to mood altering is the simple fact that a lot of our emotions are connected to smell. So for example, if you're driving through a neighborhood and you smell freshly cut grass, it might bring you back to a childhood memory. You walk into a room and you smell fresh baked cookies, you might remember going to your grandma's house. Whatever the case may be, that's how it's connected actually in the physical sense. Second way you can use essential oils is topically. Like I said before, it's very fast acting. If you apply it directly onto your skin, it enters the bloodstream within 30 seconds. It's great to use for massage. You can also use it for skin, essential oils for skin ailments such as burns, cuts, scrapes, wounds, and sores, depending on what issue you're having would be what essential oil you would use. And then also, if you're trying to benefit the internal aspects, you would use it directly around that concern of the body part. For example, if I was using a digestive blend, I would actually put some directly over my stomach, and that would help ease that discomfort. A small child, you can put it around their abdomen if they're having problems going to the bathroom. That will help relax their stomach muscles. If you're having back problems, you can put specific essential oils on that area that's bothering you, and that will help ease that muscle tension and that tightness that's occurring around that area. Now, there's 2 different ways you can use essential oils topically. It's called neat, which is just applying the essential oil directly onto the skin, or you can dilute it with a carrier oil. There are several different carrier oil types available, and we can go over that at a later time. But just know that the whole reason why you do that is for a dilution benefit. For children, for example, you want to make sure that you're using a less concentrated ratio because they're smaller, their body sizes are smaller, especially when you're doing essential oil blends for small babies and infants. There are different dilutional charts available online, so you can find those to figure out whether or not You're using 1 essential oil in 1 teaspoon of carrier oil, or you're using one drop of essential oil in 2 tablespoons. So you can see the difference there in that ratio. And obviously, the larger the dilution is going to be for the smaller the person, right? So that's kind of an opposite thing. I'm going to use the most essential oils for my body because I'm an adult size. There's also a thought when it comes to diluting with carrier oils that using a carrier oil can help bind it to the skin better. So not only are you going to get the benefit of the carrier oils, such as coconut oil that has antibacterial benefits to it, but you're also going to bind it to the skin, which is going to create a protective layer, and it's going to stop that essential oil from dissipating into the air, and it's going to actually get into you. I do both. I put pure peppermint on my temples when I have a headache, but I will rub a blend of vetiver and lavender and Siberian fir on at night to help me go to sleep. So it just depends on what the purpose I'm using the essential oils for. It depends on whether or not I dilute it. It's also convenient to carry around a vial like this. This is a 10 milliliter vial that I have made up. This has lemon, peppermint, and lavender inside of it. So it's really easy just to take this roller ball off and use it where I need to use it. I like to use pulse points specifically. Wherever I know I can feel a pulse is where I put essential oils at. You can also use it on the back of your neck here. It's called the occipital triangle. Like I said, you can use it on the temples here. Essential oils are great right here around the carotid pulse and the ears, especially behind the ears where that soft spot is. Your radial pulses, your brachial pulse. And then down at the bottom of your feet, kids love to have essential oils massaged onto the bottom of their feet and on their spine, especially when it's time to go to bed at night. You can rub lavender on their feet and on their spine to help them relax and go to sleep. So that's the topical version. The third way to use it is internal. Now, essential oils very specifically, doTERRA, and these are the only essential oils I'm speaking of right now to use internally because these are the only essential oils I trust for me and my family. But they will have a supplementation fact label on the bottle if it's safe for you to use them internally. Now, obviously, if doTERRA makes a capsule that says take oral, 1 to 2 tablets, and that means it's safe to take internally. But on the bottle itself, if it's not safe to use an essential oil, internally, it's not going to have a supplementation fact on it. If it's safe to use, then it will, and it'll tell you how many drops you can use and things like that. So in order to take essential oils internally, you can either add them to a glass of water, like 1 drop of lemon or 1 drop of peppermint into a 4-ounce glass of water, and just drink it. You can also use empty capsules that are available. These are veggie capsules that are available through doTERRA. You can just open them up. You can pop whatever kind of essential oil you're wanting to use, pop the top back on, and then you have a veggie capsule that you can pop right in your mouth. You can also use essential oils for dietary and cooking, whether or not you're adding them to recipes to enhance them or you're using them instead of herbs. It's definitely a way that you can get essential oils in. You want to be very careful because we've already talked about how potent they are. Literally, there's a lot of recipes when it comes to using essential oils is 1 drop, or sometimes you would actually dip a toothpick in to the essential oil bottle and stir it inside your recipe. So they're very, very dilutional. The benefit of using essential oils when cooking rather than using the fresh herbs is that essential oils really don't expire and they last forever. The 15 milliliter bottles of essential oils have 250 drops. So if you were to buy them for your cooking, like your basil and oregano and thyme, you would really only have to buy them once. You can also use them internally to help improve immunity and boost your immune system to help you during seasonal ailments. You can gargle them for scratchy throats. I've been using a blend of an immunity booster mixed with honey here lately. I've had some issues with my throat. But really, you use essential oils internally from anything from tip to tail ailments. It's kind of like what I think's about. So if you're having problems with your stomach, your esophagus, your GI tract, all the way out the exit, that's what you would use an essential oil for. A few safety precautions and then we'll wrap up. You want to make sure you dilute all warm oils. And warm oils include things like oregano and cinnamon and ginger. These feel very hot to the skin. They're not going to burn. They just feel very uncomfortable. Small children especially don't like the way they feel. So you want to make sure you dilute them thoroughly with the carrier oil. Obviously, keep out of reach of children. You don't want your child to drink a bottle of peppermint and then have to worry about calling poison control. You definitely don't want to use essential oils in your eyes, in your ear canals, and a lot of times they say on mucous membranes. Now, I think that needs to be said with a caveat that if there's a reason why you're going to put them on mucous membranes, like I just told you, I'm going to gargle certain essential oils in my throat. Well, that's a mucous membrane, and so I would use that for that specific reason. So I think that's if they're a warm carrier oil. But if irritation does occur, you want to make sure you add a carrier oil to the problem and not water. Water actually enhances the effects of essential oils. And so you would want to take your coconut oil that you have, olive oil, whatever the case may be that you have to help dilute that and rub it over what area is bothering you and then just wipe it off. Citrus oils can cause sun sensitivity. You want to make sure that if you're applying lemon, wild orange, grapefruit, in with a lotion onto your skin that you allow 12 hours before exposing your skin to sun. It will increase that photosensitivity so you can actually get a sunburn if you have those essential oils on your skin. There are very specific ones we've already talked about not to ingest. If it doesn't have a supplementation label, do not ingest it. Specifically, most woods cannot be ingested orally, like arbor vitae, cedarwood, cypress, white fir, or wintergreen. There are some others, but those are the big ones. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you definitely want to make sure you talk to your doctor before you ingest anything. There are some essential oils that have been known to induce labor, and so you would not want to use those during the end stage or during any time of pregnancy because it could induce labor when it's not time. And then there are thoughts that peppermint can reduce your breast milk production. So if you're having issues with breastfeeding, that would be one essential oil you would eliminate. If you've been using peppermint and you're breastfeeding and it's not reducing your oil or your water intake, then your milk output, then don't worry about changing that. If you have liver issues, you definitely want to be careful. Grapefruit is always told to patients with liver problems to avoid because of the way that the enzymes in the grapefruit break down medications. So that would be something that you want to be careful of. And then if you're using blood thinners or you're on blood pressure medicine, you definitely want to speak to your healthcare provider about certain essential oils because they do have blood thinning. Some essential oils have blood thinning properties and vasodilating properties. So it can lower your blood pressure, and if you're on blood pressure medicine, that can be a problem. The good news is you might actually be able to wean yourself off of certain blood pressure medicines, but that's a different topic totally. You want to make sure you use oils in glass, ceramic, or stainless steel containers. They can break down products of plastic and styrofoam. So you're either going to have a dissolved plastic bottle after a while, or you're going to have those toxins in your water and ingesting them, which is something you don't want to do. And of course, anytime I talk about essential oils, I'm not trying to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent your disease process. This is not a substitute for your professional medical advice. So thank you so much for joining me. On the next video, we're going to talk about why doTERRA specifically. Bye.